I mean, I've always been interested in nature.
Kind of Mother Nature's perfect animal, you know?
Seeing Nile crocodiles and being kind of terrified.
Welcome to the Nature Talks podcast.
Hello and welcome, nature lovers, to another heart-stealing episode of Nature Talks, a podcast where we uncover powerful stories from the wild, celebrate change makers, and explore the incredible work being done to protect life on Earth. I'm your host, Erfan Firouzi, an environmental storyteller, biodiversity advocate, and someone who believes in the transformative power of storytelling, just like our guest today. I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled, to welcome Prakash Matada to this show. Prakash is not only a National Geographic Explorer, but one of the most passionate and visionary wildlife filmmakers of our time. He is someone whose lens doesn't just capture wildlife, it captures emotions, urgency, and above all, hope. His award-winning film, Flying Elephants, A Mother's Hope, touched millions of hearts and was even recognized by the Prime Minister of India. He has worked with BBC, Apple TV, Discovery, and more, bringing us closer to wild species in ways that leave us breathless and reflective. So without further ado, Prakash, welcome to the Nature Talks podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me, Irfan. We have been in touch for some time, and it's nice to be here. Thanks.
Same here as well. Thank you once again, Prakash. Honestly, I've followed your work for a while, and your film Flying Elephants left a mark on me. So as someone who's also engaged in environmental advocacy and media, it was both inspiring and grounding, to be honest. So let's start from the beginning. What first sparked your love for wildlife, and how did you transition into filmmaking as a career path?
For some reason, I've been very passionate about wildlife from a very young age. If someone even talks about wildlife, I used to get really excited. As a kid, when someone asks what you want to be when you grow up, in my mind, I wanted to become a wildlife ranger because I felt you will be able to explore the forest, and you'll have no rules or anything. You will have the whole forest for you. You could go anywhere and spend time. So I thought a wildlife ranger was a great career for me. But as most Indians, I ended up becoming engineer. I started working after my engineering. I started working as a business analyst. But the time I started working, I also got the opportunity to do volunteer work with a lot of wildlife NGOs. So I used to use all my spare time, all my holidays, working with the wildlife NGOs. I used to be part of their outreach activities, their research programs. And there were many outreach activities I was part of. I was conducting quiz for children. I used to do street plays in the tribal villages. And there was one particular program which really was the turning point. Was we showcased documentaries, wildlife documentaries to the tribal villages which were closer to the park. And we used to project these wildlife documentaries on their walls. And I could see, a kind of emotion in all the people when we showcased documentaries. I could see people jump, laugh. I could see children cry. I could see all kinds of emotions when people were watching documentaries, whereas I did not see any of those when I was doing the other outreach activities. So I thought it's a very powerful medium for conservation or bringing or connecting people with wildlife. So that's when I first, as I was working, I started learning editing. I started learning editing videos, and after I learned editing, I started filming videos for wildlife NGOs. So I did a lot of pro bono work when I started off, and that work led me to some people asking me to do, uh, their NGO videos where they could raise grant or they could raise funds. So that's how my work started into wildlife filmmaking.
That's amazing. I mean, that is indeed a very beautiful journey. And, I personally always believe that storytelling is one of our strongest conservation tools. And then you have clearly shown it through your work. It reaches where policy sometimes can't. And that's exactly what your film, Flying Elephants, did. Tell us a bit more about the Flying Elephants and what was the inspiration and what were some of the emotional moments behind the scenes?
So flying elephants happened because of a friend, Kriti Karant. She reached out to me saying one of our donors wanted to do a film on elephants, and so when they reached out, I wanted to do a film very unique on elephants because I've worked with elephants in my previous projects, and I kind of kind of felt very emotional about elephants and the pain they go through, and I wanted it to be a different kind of a film where it could reach out to people because we have already seen a lot of documentaries where we see elephants in a lot of pain, like people throwing fireballs at it or people chasing it, trying all kinds of things with the elephants while chasing it away from the agriculture land. So I wanted to do it very different, and that's when we started doing research about how we could do a film very differently, and we came across a book called Gajashastra. It's a Hindu myth. There was a Hindu mythology story in that book. It's actually a book written for elephant mahouts. Mahouts are people who take care of tamed elephants. So it's a very ancient, like a 500-year-old book. And in that, we found the story of this elephants having wings. And that's where the story where it said that, elephants had wings and they were all flying around the world. And one of the days, a sage who was meditating got disturbed when the elephants were playing, and that's where he cursed them, "No more wings for you," and that's how they've come on Earth. So using that story and then my experience of filming elephants or seeing how the conflict between the local people who are trying to save their crop and how the elephants being treated. So that's when I thought I will use this story to show how they were in the past, how freely roaming they were, and how the changes have happened right now. Like it might be the poaching or the habitat destruction, or even I think mainly the habitat destruction, which has caused for this. So that's how it came about to doing this film about the past and the present, and a story of a mother and a calf, where the mother is hoping the calf, her daughter gets the wings so that it can also fly away from all these problems. So that's how we thought about the story. It was a span of 2 years, 2 to 3 years in the making. It was so how so I had a vision board just before even starting Flying Elephants. So I had a vision board saying how I want people to feel about the film. I wanted people to feel empathetic toward elephants, feel, they themselves, if they were elephants, how they would be. So all that was already done in pre-production about the vision board, and we also had a plan of how many people it should reach, which are the festivals it should reach, and what do we expect from the audience. And all of that was done even before the filming started or the research started. Uh, Luckily, it laid out the way we wanted, and yeah, it was. I think, yeah, the vision board was really helpful in the process of flying elephant.
Interesting. So, let's say, which part was your favorite part filming it then? Was there a particular moment that is still stuck to your head?
So when I was trying to film, the most emotional I felt was the forest fires. If you see, there are not many shots I've put, but there are around 2 to 3 glimpses of the forest burning. I got really emotional about that because I could see thousands and thousands of hectares of land. But I was actually there to film elephants crossing the national highway, but it such happened that there was a forest fire, and so that's how I was able to fly the drone and get some shots of the destruction it was making. And I also got uh, involved to see, like, going with the department and see if there was something I could help the forest department during the forest fire. In the process, when that happened, it was the year 2019 or 18, somewhere that year. Two forest watchers who were trying to put off the fire got burnt alive in the fire, and there were many birds, like birds in the sense the birds in the nest, the hatchlings, and I saw even the flying squirrel burnt alive, and a lot of snakes. It was very emotional for me to see the kind of destruction a forest fire can have. I think of all the destructions, like the conflicts I've seen, I think forest fire is something damages the whole ecosystem, and that was still stuck to me. I mean, I keep thinking about the kind of damage a forest fire can do.
Yep, it's really dramatic, and I mean, especially through documentaries like yours, you can feel, their pain, you can feel their fear, their confusion, and it humanizes the struggle. So, I mean, what is really unique is that the message you have passed on is very solid because it reached many millions of people, and that's incredible, to be honest. So how did you build that kind of momentum?
So like I said, I had a vision board. So in the vision board, I randomly wrote, like, it has to reach 100 million followers. I had just written that. And I did not know how it would have happened, but I just had that in my thought. And once I decided it to be released, it was the World Elephant Day. So I started reaching out to celebrities through contacts or through directly writing it to them, asking them to post it on their social media. So the 100 million followers, what I'm saying is basically it's a collective of celebrities and people whom I know or connected. So that's how I thought it'll reach 100 million on the World Elephant Day, but it reached around 32 million. Like, a lot of celebrities from India shared, like Ravina Tandon and Dia Mirza, and a lot of celebrities from South, like Puneet Rajkumar, and also the England cricket captain Kevin Peterson. So a lot of people shared on their social media, and it had reached around 35 million. And it was very kind of them to share it on their social media. As you know, most of these posts, what they share is usually a paid or a branded. It is, they charge 1 crore rupee or like 4 crore rupee. I remember few celebrities who shared. It was a 1 million. They charge $1 million for one post. So it was very surprising to see they were so supportive of sharing this film on their social media. And after 2 months or so, I mean, my wife Naidile, she laughed it out when I said, I hope I know our Prime Minister shares it, and and we'll reach 100 million. But that did not happen on the World Elephant Day. But after 2 months, I was in the field, and one of my old friends, school friends, called up, and I was surprised to receive his call, and he said, "Congratulations for flying elephants." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, and congratulations that Prime Minister Modi has shared it on his Twitter." So then that was a big thing. I was also surprised. And once he shared, a lot of uh, his subordinates started sharing, his party workers started sharing in throughout India and also in my state. So that was very heartwarming to see our Prime Minister sharing about it. I think he mainly shared for two reasons. One, it's a tribal language film. It's not. It was offered to be made in different languages, but uh, I wanted to stick to the tribal language because it has that very natural way of connecting to people. Though you don't understand the language, you just feel it. And the second, yeah, because it was an indigenous thing, and it had won two prestigious wildlife film festivals, which is Jackson Wild, which is called the Green Oscars, and Wild Screen. So it had won these two. So it was, yeah, heartwarming to see our Prime Minister sharing it and making the vision board successful. He had some 75 million followers, so it made it 100 million followers. So that's how it happened.
It's amazing. I mean, that's when we talk about that ripple effect, because
Yeah.
when we dream of as a storyteller, I always, say that if one video can open one heart, that's the start, and
Yeah.
but 100 million heart, that's to be honest a huge movement, and I think it has contributed a lot to conservation of the elephants because they are sometimes not very well treated. Even we had a couple of guests previously who they mentioned the fact that the Asian elephants, especially, they're not that well treated. So I know that your team surely had that ripple effect. And talking about that, I know that you have worked with BBC, Apple TV, Discovery, huge names in the global storytelling. So what have those collaborations taught you?
I think for me, I did happen to work with BBC as a drone operator in 2017 or so. Uh, it happened because I think it's working with them. It's not like, it's not easy. It's not like I did not have any like I was a graduate in computers, so I did not have any formal education in camera work or anything. It just happened that I was referred as a drone operator for one of the BBC series called The Hunt, and that opportunity led to more references. And when the COVID happened and many crews couldn't come to the country, then they started to hire the in-house, the local talents. So that's when I started getting a lot of work, and uh, the work which I started to do with them, was again like I work with a producer. A producer might refer me, if someone else is looking for a job. So it was basically through referrals. I got a lot of work. I still, I mean, I think because of that work, I still continue to have a lot of work on the wildlife camera work from all these blue chip productions. Working with them has been special because it's a dream to work with all these productions. It's not easy at all to get a chance to even assist them. It's not easy at all because the production value is so high. You can't even fathom the kind of gears they use, the kind of technology they use. Uh, for me, I've been very fortunate to get that opportunity to work with the crew, with the best producers, and also and the peak was when I happened to work with on Planet Earth 3. That was my dream to work on Planet Earth series because I grew up watching Planet Earth 1 and 2, and I'm a huge fan of that series. And working on that made me feel very special. It was a dream come true moment, and the production value, what they bring, and the production, uh, the kind of quality they strive for, has made my production, my independent production value also, better. So yeah, I mean it's a great opportunity to work with them, and it's going well.
It's amazing. I mean, yeah, talking about something which made me more excited was about Planet Earth 3, because I'm also a huge fan of the series Blue Planet
Yeah.
and Planet Earth. And Planet Earth 3, the shots were amazing. I mean, when we look at the difference between many different sort of wildlife NGOs, BBC, on the other hand, their production is sort of sky high. You know, they
Yeah.
film it like a Hollywood series. You know, not like a simple documentary. And I
Yeah.
mean, and talking about that, I absolutely imagine the responsibility is immense.
Yeah.
Kudos and hats off to you and the team. And of course, in my talks and podcast work, I always try to make science accessible yet emotional, like you do to your films. So as a National Geographic Explorer, you're also working on youth education. So tell us about your latest initiative and why you moved towards that goal.
So I think somewhere in 2018, two of my friends, um Kriti and Gabby, they reached out for content for children, for some wildlife content, because they had an education program running for kids who stay in the border of the national parks and the sanctuaries, and I personally did not have any wildlife films which I could give it to them, and I reached out to other people to check if they had some good films for children so they could showcase, and none of them had good content or any of that which we could share it with kids. So that's when I wrote a grant for National Geographic, and I got a grant, and we made a series, a local wildlife series for children, and it's been narrated in 3 different languages: Hindi, English, Kannada, and all these local wildlife species. Uh, it's for people who stay close by but never got a chance to know them, or they have different perspectives about, like, the kids of parents who go every night to the to the agricultural land to chase away the elephants. The kids will have a different perspective of elephants, saying they're monsters, they keep my parents away, and they have the completely different perspectives who stay very close to the park. So this series is to showcase to children who stay close to the park, or any children, to show these animals are not very different from us. They have the same kind of family bonding or social tree, or the way they live. It's not very, we are all connected in one way or the other. So this series is to build empathy for children. So this has been used in the curriculum of Gabby and Kriti's program. It's currently also being showcased, and I think around 15 or 20,000 children it's been already showcased. Yeah,
it's amazing. That's really amazing. During COVID, I also used to run a few environmental online classes, and I agree. The children are the key towards this awareness, because they themselves they are a bit cut off from nature, which is unfortunate. And they are not as perhaps biased as adults are, saying we are far away from nature, we don't need it. And it's like you plant one seed now and you're growing a forest of compassion for the future. So, because the documentaries you have worked on, including your own individual film, is just amazing. And of course, I can clearly tell. Taking a picture with a phone alone is very difficult. And I can feel that wildlife filmmaking is not just a walk in the park or something very simple. So, what are the toughest challenges you have faced in the field during your journey?
I think it's the people itself, like in my journey, because most of them feel that you go to the park, you're so close to the wild animals. Aren't you scared? Aren't you worried they will attack you? But that has never been a challenge till now, unless you know how much distance you have to maintain. You should always respect wildlife, maintain certain distance, not go too close to them. And that, for me, I try to gauge when I'm filming. Like, I know, okay, if I'm pushing too much, getting too close, which is making uncomfortable, then I have to step back. So that has never been a challenge for me to get closer to the wildlife, depending on the species, or if it's even an elephant, like how much that elephant is comfortable for us to get close. That's never been a challenge, but it's always been people. I have faced a lot of challenges with people in field, mainly because of their situations. At one point we got I just quit my job as a business analyst. I had got a conservation series to be made. That was my first job. So once I quit, I put all my savings in the gears, and I had this project with Conservation International. So it was a big project. So I was very excited about it, and I went to a place called Goa in India to film. And we were just randomly in a place where we were trying to film the landscape. But in that situation, it was the second day of my shoot, of this career, and the whole team were taken as hostages by the mining mafia. All of a sudden they thought we came to film about their mines, which we weren't very much sure. We were there for mining or filming anything bad about mining, but the mining had been stopped in Goa and the people were very agitated. So they thought we had come to film about mines in Goa, and they thought we will bring some more stories about it and make their lives more worse. So they came and took us hostages, and we were taken into a small room and we were put inside in a dark room, and people were coming and banging the table and asking why we were there and all of that. And it was really, I'd never been in that situation of being a hostage. And whenever the door opens, I could see all the camera gears getting smashed to the ground. There were around 80 people outside waiting to, hit us. And then the police comes and rescues them. So it's basically the situation, like this. A lot of situations I've faced in the field, though I film wildlife, but people happens such that one of my crew members, he was filming elephants, people chasing elephants, and one of the guy who was chasing, his legs got stuck in one of the tractors and it broke. The tractor and it broke, and they told the elephant broke his leg so that they get compensation. And since we were there, we were under danger that we will tell the truth to the forest department, and we were chased out from there. So it's mostly from we face these challenges from people, not really. I think the climate and the stories and all of that we do face, but not so much as much we face with the bureaucracy and permits and the challenges faced by. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, but I mean, our previous guest also was saying about how it's sort of hard sometimes, especially in places like India where people are very close to wildlife, to really change their perspective on wildlife as well. He mentioned that you cannot really go and ask a mom or a dad who has lost a child to a leopard to go protect leopards.
Yeah.
It always comes from the people. But I think, as you mentioned, what is very importantly shown with the flying elephant is about the indigenous voice. Indigenous people live in the forest, they're closer than any of us to wildlife. How are they not affected? So they know how to live and live with those conditions. And I think it's very important to have their voices heard. So talking about that, I know as perhaps a wildlife filmmaker, it's all about visual storytelling. So how do you think perhaps visual storytelling shapes the public's perception of wildlife and conservation? Because I know personally, like through the years, Planet Earth 1, Planet Earth 2, Planet Earth 3, there's a huge shift in the way the story has been told. It was first all about wildlife, then it shifted to a lot of conservation in Planet Earth 3.
No, yeah, definitely. See, the visual storytelling definitely makes impact. That's why I'm still continuing with this profession. Like I said, I've been so passionate about wildlife, I could have ended up in any career. But storytelling is something, it's one of the mediums where, you can see people change of heart. There are films like Earthlings where people have become vegan watching Earthlings. It does happen. It does make an impact. But I think it has to be just not the visuals. Maybe some stories do make an impact, but not all stories can have a visual impact on everything. I think it has to be a collective effort from an impact campaign post a visual film, like what you're studying, those kind of conservation projects has to, it has to be a collective effort from the science. There has to be a collective effort from the policy makers, from the people, and it can be any profession. People can get involved with the conservation. Some things needs a collective effort. Some visual storytelling can have an impact, but I won't say that everything whatever I do has has an impact. I can't definitely claim that.
I mean, yeah, it is true. The collective impact is something I couldn't agree more with, because even with the flying elephant you just mentioned, it was a whole collective effort being pushed for the awareness. And it's why I always feel like we have to mix science with people's stories, animal stories, so that we can make people care, and they just need to be shown why they need to care in the first place. And of course I know that a few of our listeners on the podcast are aspiring wildlife filmmakers, or hoping to be, who are listening to this. So what advice would you offer to them?
For filmmaking, see, the first advice I would say is the hardest part is editing. Everyone would love to take a camera and go and shoot. Editing is something everyone gets stuck with. So I would suggest go the other way, start learning editing, and then start using the camera. Like, once as an editor what shots you need and all of that, don't completely depend, like you shoot and you go and give it to some editor. As a filmmaker, I think you should know end to end from from pre-production, like researching and script writing and budgeting and filming, editing, coloring, music, adding music, all of it. I think you should know end to end. That's when you will be able to, in the future you might go in one path, like you can become an editor or you can become a cinematographer, but it's always good to know end to end of a film, how to make a film. And how to start that off, I think making your own local stories is how you have to start it off. The best way is to create your own stories and sequences, no matter how small it is. Just go out and start making your own stories. And now we have everything. We can do a film from our own phones. We can edit it on our phones. So it's very easy compared to how it was earlier. So yeah, I think it can be.
That's a golden advice, to be honest. And I mean, like what you've exactly told everyone here is that don't chase the perfect shot. Chase the honest moment, chase the entire procedure, because it is important to know what is end to end of something. If you're starting something, go all the way till the end. And I can personally tell that over your career, you have seen a lot of changes happening to nature, a lot of loss of species, a lot of climate impact. So what is one perhaps hope, looking to the future? What are your hopes for wildlife conservation?
That's a very interesting question. So it's very surprising if a place is untouched, how the nature bounces back. I have personally seen it. Like yesterday, I was so surprised. I was driving through a small coffee plantation, which is like 3 hours away from where I live, Bangalore. So I had never thought of seeing a jackal in that habitat, because it has elephants, it has hornbills, it has tigers, but jackal is something you never see on. I never thought I'll see a jackal there, and it's not even a place because people do a lot of hunting in that area. They hunt wild pigs and all of that. But I was really surprised to see a pair of jackal. That blew my mind. I felt so lucky yesterday. So I personally feel if a place is untouched, the nature bounces back. So the main aim for us to create these such places more and more, where they need not to be managed. They just need to be left untouched and protected from far, not to create fences or boundaries and all of that, just to create more corridors and just leave it untouched. So my hope is there are places still untouched. The nature, there are small pockets, at least leaving those pockets, the nature still will survive. So my hope is, if we have certain places which are not developed or nothing left as it is, the nature will bounce back and we will have a good ecosystem if possible. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, that's what we truly call rewilding. Bringing back nature where it is within our own cities. And in many of the documentaries that we are seeing these days, we are seeing how nature is bouncing back. And I mean, that's what personally I try to inspire that. Yeah, if you give nature a chance, it'll bounce back.
Yeah.
It's all about giving voice to species and ecosystems that are too often overlooked. And lastly, so this is one of the most favorite parts of our podcast for the audience. So what message would you leave with our listeners, especially young people turning in?
I would suggest, this has been the new thing, but it's hard to follow. I think the minimalistic living is a new way of, hoping the world will get a better place. I don't mean by minimalistic living means you just have one or two clothes. No, nothing like that kind of minimal. It's just the kind of impact you feel you're doing on Earth. Just getting more simplistic and not complicating the way we live. I would suggest going that way. We can make the world a better place. Less greed and less materialism will make a world better place. And I've also seen that we always complain about people who stay close to these wildlife, then messing up the killing leopards or poisoning elephants. But I think it's mainly because of the urban impact what we do. If you see the kind of lifestyle we have, if we go to a restaurant, we have around 15 to 30 dishes laid in a buffet. Whereas if you see a local villager, he just has a small meal like a rice ball and something very lightly he has. But we here in urban cities, we have like this laid out and hardly 10 people eat it and then it's trashed. And because of our demand for such kind of varieties of food and varieties of I think the urban people's demand is putting a pressure on the habitats and the local village. So that's personally I feel urban people getting more minimalistic is a good way to think about conservation. And as a filmmaker, like I said, making your own local stories, not stories about some other place or some other country. It's making local stories for your local audience will have a better impact.
True, that's beautifully said. Not wasting food or wasting any resources, of course, the key step to sustainability at first. And thank you so much for joining us today and for everything you're doing to protect our planet, to bring the stories to life. And that is a wrap up for this episode of Nature Talks. To see the works of Prakash, you can see the links attached in the description. And to watch, of course, Flying Elephants do or learn about Prakash's work, you can find the links once again to his website and social media in the description. And remember, we all share this earth. Let's protect it one story at a time. Until next time, I'm Erfan Firouzi. Stay wild, stay inspired.
Thank you. And Irfan, I just want to add, there's a new episode, a new series which will come out in Nat Geo YouTube channel, which will be out, which I worked last year. It's called Friends with Benefits in the Wild.
I see.
So it's about symbiotic relationships in the wild, where we definitely need to learn at this point, looking at how the world goes. So yeah, it's a series which will be very interesting. So that's my new project in process.
That's amazing. So where can you find that then?
It should be out sometime in few months. It'll be on the Nat Geo YouTube channel.
Perfect. So, check out Nat Geo YouTube channel as well for this amazing new project coming up.
I've always been interested in nature.
Kind of Mother Nature's perfect animal,
Seeing Nile crocodiles and being kind of terrified.
Welcome to the Nature Talks podcast.